Just close your eyes. Know the peace within.
Dear GM, you say that nothing is separate from consciousness, meaning that everything, including a realized being, exists within my consciousness. You also say that only a realized being can awaken my consciousness. This seems to create a circular reference since the realized being is also part of my consciousness. How can the realized one awaken my consciousness? How do I reconcile the need for a realized being with the understanding that all forms are within my own consciousness? And if everything is already consciousness, why is it necessary to realize that consciousness is consciousness? Could you please clarify?
Only a realized can tell you that in your conscious presence only everything appears, moves, and disappears. Only a realized can tell you that knowing your presence as I amness itself is exclusively by the consciousness within you. Only a realized can help you to settle inwardly and tell you that everything begins in your consciousness just now. Realized knows what this I amness consciousness is. Realized knows that your consciousness is ignorant about itself by accepting the form to be itself within duality. Realized says, know the consciousness within. To know the consciousness within, you need to settle inwardly in stillness. Realized helps you to settle inwardly. Unless your consciousness settles inwardly, it cannot know the conscious state within, which is beyond movements and words. First, you are conscious of yourself as I amness. This I amness itself is consciousness only. In your consciousness only, all objects appear just now. Can you know any object if you are not conscious? Even your presence as I amness is known only in your consciousness. You cannot deny it. Even to deny this, you must be conscious. The first point to be known is that you are conscious of your presence. And in your conscious presence only, everything appears, happens, and disappears. Your question is, even realized being appears in your consciousness. Of course, all forms appear nowhere but in your consciousness only just now. You are yet to know that all forms are only conscious forms, appearing at an unexplainable speed in space. Realized uses the form to share the truth and knows the eternal beyondness prior to duality. Realized teaches only to wake up your consciousness, which is still sleeping at the form level of the duality show. Realized knows what non-dual reality is. You are yet to know what non-dual is. Realized knows that no one is never born. You are yet to know this secret of unborn eternal reality prior to duality. Had you not come across a realized, could you know that you are sleeping at the personality level and you need to wake up consciously, inwardly? Can you know the endless, eternal reality beyond duality? Can you know that you only observe the duality? Can you know that you need to wake up consciously? Can you know that you were never born? Can you know that you cannot die? Can you know that you are still inside the dream at the form level? Can you know that you are not the form? Can you know that the entire duality is only a reflection of the light within? Can you know that there is no reality within duality? Is it not essential to be with a realized to know what you are originally? You are asking, if everything is already consciousness, why is it necessary to realize that consciousness is consciousness? Have you known what consciousness is? Have you known what this duality is, which appears and disappears? Have you known whatever that appears in duality is not real? Have you known that the entire duality is manifested in your consciousness at an unexplainable speed just now? Have you known from where all objects of the duality happen just now? Have you known from where the entire duality is happening just now? Have you known from where the entire duality is disappearing? Have you known what the unending reality is? Have you known that there is a state prior to the happening of the duality? Have you known the unmoving reality prior to duality? Have you known the unchanging reality prior to duality? Have you known the ever-present reality prior to duality? Have you known what is non-dual? Have you known that non-dual is eternal? Have you known that non-dual is endless? Have you known that non-dual is beginningless? Have you known what the absolute reality is? Have you known what the unending wholeness is? Your consciousness is yet to know the eternal secret about itself. Unknowingly, it is accepting the tiny form within duality to be itself. By accepting the tiny form to be itself, your consciousness remains ignorant about its eternal, unending beauty prior to duality. My whole teaching is only to remind your consciousness that your consciousness at present. Your consciousness knows its unending richness only by settling inwardly. Your consciousness, knowing that it is consciousness, is only the beginning of wakefulness. By settling in stillness constantly, your consciousness merges in the source of awareness and wakes up totally from the duality dream and knows its eternal unborn reality, that it is never born, and whatever appears to be born in the duality is exclusively an unreal dream and not real. Now tell me, is it not essential for your consciousness to remain conscious inwardly to know what it is? Is it not essential for your consciousness to wake up totally, to realize its unborn supreme richness Is it not essential for your consciousness to remain conscious, to know that it is only the non-dual eternal and not the perceived dreamy duality? Better remain conscious inwardly to know the unmoving richness beyond duality. Remain conscious inwardly to know the unchanging richness beyond duality. Your consciousness, trapped by the personality, needs to remain conscious of itself inwardly to realize its unborn supreme reality prior to duality. Realized teachings helps your consciousness to wake up consciously inwardly. Once your consciousness is conscious of itself inwardly, it is one with the source of awareness and remains free from the duality show. When your consciousness is not conscious of itself, it is trapped by the duality. Now tell me, is it not essential for your consciousness to be conscious of itself inwardly